How do I feel about gray wolves? Well, gray wolves are this iconic species. They are very representative of the Wild West.
So I always think of family when I think of wolves, and I think that's what is part of the allure of wolves to a lot of people, is that they mimic sometimes human behaviors and it connects us to them.
They're all throughout our folklore, throughout human history. We're fascinated by this species. This animal is so important to a healthy ecosystem. Every system in the world needs a top predator. As we've removed that top predator, we've noticed some pretty dramatic changes to our landscape. Today, we're making every effort we can to ensure we have a healthy, balanced landscape by reintroducing this top predator.
Out here in the West, we do share the landscape with wildlife, whether that's wolves or bears or bison or any host of other species. And one of the things that Defenders has always focused on is this idea of coexistence, and that's really how to share a landscape with wildlife.
Yeah, so one of the biggest conflicts we've seen between gray wolves and people is in regards to livestock depredations. Each situation is unique, so we work directly with this specific livestock producer to try and prevent such conflict. Coexistence is really important to me. I think it's one of the most important roles Defenders plays in the field. And I think it's important because it's where we involve the human aspect of wildlife conservation. And we work closely with the people on the ground to try and find ways to mitigate conflicts between wolves and people. Yeah, so one of the things wolves need is interconnected habitat.
The importance of private lands, of working lands to wildlife is really undeniable, both from like a habitat perspective, a connectivity perspective. Defenders has really been committed to these on-the-ground coexistence projects really since the beginning of gray wolf recovery, and we're really seeing examples of that success, such as here in the Tom Minor Basin, working with Hillary Malou and the Tom Minor Basin Association.
You know, we are neighboring Yellowstone from the north side, and that's a really unique place to be in, and it's a really, really exciting time to be in agriculture because we can now be a really big part of the solution instead of the part of the problem of the past.
Defenders finds it's important to work with the livestock community and other partners to address conflicts between wolves and livestock, and that's recognizing that wolves do have an economic impact on the livestock community and that there are things we can do to work together to try and address those conflicts. And so we will continue to work with the livestock community as wolves recover into these areas.
There's a lot happening here. There's ranchers doing regenerative ag. You know, there's all this talk about soil health and carbon, and there's talk about biodiversity and wolves and grizzly bears. And then there's also this idea of this community coming together, again, of wildlife services, FWP, environmentalists, ranchers, all just working together.
We are profoundly grateful for the partnerships we've been able to develop throughout the process, working with agencies, NGOs, and communities, and individual landowners to work towards these conflict prevention efforts and this coexistence work on the ground.
Being able to have these animals roaming free in their historic territory again, well, for me it would be incredible.
I think one of the most important things people can do to coexist with gray wolves is to recognize the truth behind gray wolves, to see that gray wolves are part of an ecosystem in a larger picture. Find out what can you do to prevent conflicts before they happen, rather than waiting for conflicts to occur. And then talk to each other, talk to your neighbors about maybe getting together and working on tools to prevent conflicts as a community.